someone who had the same dreams as me, published his first book. It wasn't perfect, but it was out in the world, and people loved it. I congratulated him, but deep down, I felt something else, not envy, but regret. The only difference between us was that he started and I didn't. That night, I asked him, "Weren't you scared? Weren't you worried about failing?" "Of course I was," he said. "But I realized something. If I wait until I feel 100% ready, I'll never start." No one is ever truly ready. You learn by doing, not by waiting. That hit me hard. I had spent so much time waiting for perfection that I missed the most important lesson. Starting before you're ready is the only way to ever be ready. How many dreams have been buried under the excuse of waiting for the right time? How many opportunities have we let slip by because we were scared of not being good enough? The truth is, there is no perfect moment. The only time we ever have is now. I'm not the only one who's been stuck waiting. Many of you have written in, sharing your own struggles with hesitation and the moment you finally took action. Let's hear Isaac's story.
For years, I wanted to start a business. I had a plan. I researched. I told myself I was just waiting for the right time. But life kept getting in the way. One day, I realized that if I kept waiting, I'd never do it. So, I started with what I had. No big investments, no perfect setup. Just a small step. Now, 3 years later, that small step has grown into a thriving business. And all I can think is, what if I had waited even longer?
Isaac's story teaches us that action creates opportunity. The longer we wait, the more we miss. Before we take the next story, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to @MailDopsy on all major platforms. Now, let's hear Sarah's story.
I always dreamed of going back to school, but as a single mom, it felt impossible. I kept saying, maybe next year when things settle down. But they never did. There was always another reason to wait. Then one day my daughter asked me, "Mom, why don't you follow your dreams?" That was it. I enrolled the next week. It was hard. It wasn't perfect, but I did it. Now, I'm 6 months away from my degree, and the only thing I regret is waiting so long.
Sarah's story is a reminder. Sometimes, the only thing standing between us and our dreams is the fear of starting. Now I ask you, what's something you've been putting off because you feel you're not ready? What would happen if you started today, even with just one small step? Say it out loud, write it in the comments, because sometimes admitting it is the first step toward action. If this story spoke to you, don't wait. Take one small action in the next 24 hours. Just one step.